As you can see, I make really good decisions. Vote for me.
Jack's laughing the loudest.
I cannot believe the turnout this evening. I'm really humbled and I am appreciative, and thank you so much for coming. Public speaking is not my favorite thing to do, so bear with me. I have to write things down so that I will remember them. I need to thank Tom and Christine for hosting this evening. I need to thank Don Watson and Mike Morris for holding together the Middletown Dems over the last, I can't even guess how many years. They are really a strong force at a time where we were all searching for what can we do after the election. I found them, and I'm so grateful, and we are very, very lucky to have them. I want to thank Mike DeSico, who is the treasurer/fundraiser on my campaign. Right after I announced that I was going to run, he approached me and said, "I'll be your treasurer." And I thought, yay, because I had no idea what that meant. and then I was lucky enough to have also Pam and Mary Pat approach me and say that they say that they would be my treasurer. And I thought, okay, this is fantastic. I had no idea what a generous offer that was, and I appreciate their offers, and I'm so grateful every day that I have Mike on my side. I couldn't be luckier.
Yay, Mike.
You know, my journey to running for office is really as a result of supporting our LD13 candidates. They are fantastic, and I was working really hard to be a part of their team and get them elected. I've met Marielle at many different venues, and she is a fireball. Like, I cannot tell you how lucky we are to have her running for us. You just heard from Tom. What more can I say? I mean, he's passionate, he's kind, he's supportive, he knows the issues, and I can't wait to see him in Trenton fighting for us. And I mean, Sean Burns, amazing. He's a former committeeman. He's been so generous with his time and his mentoring of me, answered a ton of questions. And before all this election stuff started happening, I saw him everywhere. He populates everything. He's so involved. And again, we need to vote for all these three and make some massive changes. So we're very lucky. I want to stress that this is an amazing opportunity here in Middletown because, you know, you have me, you have Will Hunton, you have Tom, and you have Sean. And we have the next governor, Phil Murphy, all from Middletown. Yeah! Imagine the difference in the changes that we can make, and we can cooperate at the municipal and the state level. Also, Brian Wilton, who's running for freeholder, has a lot of family in Middletown as well as his law practice. So the level of cooperation just like boggles my mind. I know that we're going to be able to do great things together. I have to thank my parents, of course. My mom made some food this evening, and my dad helped with the setup. Dad is a former JCP&L employee, 40 plus years in the IBEW. Mom from Fort Monmouth, so you know, I learned very early how to work hard and what things are important, and I thank them so much for that and their support. You met my husband, you know how fantastic he is, and our three daughters, you know, you already clapped for them, but I just want to stress how much time they are dedicating to this process, and how much time I'm not dedicating to them. It's the first week of school, it's been very hectic. We've been busy with that, and no one has complained, and I really just so very lucky. So, I want to talk about 3 words tonight. You've heard that I've had many different careers. In my work with kids, I've learned that kids like to tell you a story, and that story usually begins with, you know what. It's so exciting for them to be able to engage you that I actually had to build that in when I was developing my curriculums in yoga. The first 5 to 10 minutes was always the you know what time. And they're so excited. People want you to say, tell me. They want you to be excited at that invitation. You know what is an invitation to know someone. If you keep your mind quiet and you let them speak, you'll hear amazing things. I have really learned in all of my life journey that if you want someone to listen to you, you have to listen to them. So I've spent the last 2 months just doing that, by knocking on doors, by having meet and greets, by meeting with advocates in Middletown. I've been at your kitchen tables, and soon I'm going to be populating your bus stops because I want to hear from you. And so tonight I'm going to extend to you the invitation to hear what you have taught me along the way. So I'm big on audience participation, because if I'm out here, you guys got to cooperate with me. So we're going to do the you know what. So I'm going to say you know what, and you're going to say tell me. So you know what?
Tell me.
One more time. You know what?
Tell me.
Right. I like this crowd. We all know that there's an issue of overdevelopment here in Middletown. There are multiple LLCs, activist groups here in Middletown, and you have tried to fight the development at Avaya, at Vam Hollow Golf Course, at Buttermilk Park, at Taylor Lane, at Village 35, and we're fighting the Monmouth County Reliability Project. Some of you have fought for safe roads for our children to get to school. You put in countless hours in research and in meetings. You have invested your hard-earned money in legal fees. And you know what?
Tell us.
There you go. It's unacceptable that you have to work that hard to have your voice heard at a meeting.
That's right.
Yeah. You are the co-investors in your town, and you deserve a seat at the table. And you know what?
Tell us.
It's ridiculous that when you live in a town with taxes this high, that you have to fight to keep the quality of life at least equivalent to what it is now. You know, the Christie team is an interesting phrase. Many of the current individuals on our committee right now have run under the term of the Christie crew.
Lock them up.
Fatty Arbuckle.
I love this crowd. You know, it's been said many times lately, if somebody tells you who they are, believe them. So you know what?
Tell us.
I believe them. They are the Christie crew. There are jobs in other municipalities. They hold jobs in Trenton. They have been appointed to other county boards. This is the Christie Crony way, and I'm hearing you. You are tired of it.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, the Christie bully pulpit is alive and well in this town as well. When I meet with advocates, they tell me that they have been asked by committee members, do you even have a job? Because they are investing so much of their time. One Sandy victim in Middletown went and stood online at the committee, waited patiently for her 5 minutes at the end of the committee meeting to speak, and was talking about her experience of trying to get back into her home. One committee member said to her, your poor me Sandy story doesn't work here.
Are you serious?
I am serious. When I hear that, I think I just want to shut that down so no other person feels like that woman felt when she heard those words. No neighbor should feel like that after waiting to share their experience. So you know what? I will listen to what you say, and I will respond with compassion. It's not a promise that you will always hear back from me what you want to hear, but it is a promise that I will listen to you. It's a pledge that no matter where you live in this town, you will know that you've been heard and that you are important.
Thank you.
We are underrepresented here in Middletown. I've been listening to you and following many of the threads on the social media groups. We have a very dressed out dog. I understand.
He's had enough.
So I've been listening to you and following what's happening on the social media threads. And I want to tell you that I'm really sensitive to the reality that we have begun to marginalize and segregate our own neighborhoods. I'm hearing things like not my Middletown and not my committee when I'm knocking on doors. Middletown adopted the motto, one town, many neighborhoods. And you know what? I call BS. Many of you won't even say you're from Middletown. You say Leonardo, you say Belford, you say Port or New Monmouth, you say River Plaza, you say Lincroft, you say Locust. You do not always say Middletown. And you know, some of that has to do with pride, and some of that is a little sad. I'm finding that everyone is really proud of where they live. We like it here in Middletown. Some of you have shared that you've lived in your homes for 100, or your family has lived here for over 125 years. You might live in your grandparents' home. You might have bought your parents' home. It's the home you grew up in. You guys are taking care of your lawns and your gardens. You support your neighbors when they need you. We, my husband and I, picked to live here because it's safe, and our police and fire department are stellar. We chose to live here for the schools. But these wonderful truths do not discount that some of you are frustrated with the dilapidated parks and homes that have been taken over by banks, and they're becoming eyesores. And wonderful truths do not dismiss that across town you share concerns about how often township properties are left unattended. You want to present outwardly the pride that you feel, and you aren't getting the support from your elected officials. There's a disconnect among our neighborhoods, and the thread that should weave them together is a common connection to your committee. And you know what? That doesn't exist. I mean, that if it did, there would be a task force that recognized concerns of overdevelopment, and that they're not happening in isolation. If connection from the committee existed in our communities, our neighborhoods would not feel abandoned. If there was a connection of the committee back to the community, you would know that your need for quality of life in all neighborhoods was at the top priority list when projects in this town were decided upon. And I'm going to circle back to representation because it's pretty important. We are not all being represented on the committee or the planning boards or the zoning committees. This is why you are not getting the help and support that you need. It's unjust, it's unfair, and you know what? There is a way to change it. And when a vehicle for change exists, you have a responsibility to be a part of that solution once it has been named. And the way to change it's simple. It's these three other words: vote, vote, and vote.
Yeah.
I am not a practiced or a polished politician, but you know what? You like that? I'm motivated by my call to service. A town is so much more than the roads that we travel. It's more than the projects that generate revenue. It's more than arguments on social media. It is the relationships of the people that live here. It's time for the committee to have a relationship with its residents.
That's right.
It's time for these three words: connect, committee, community.
There you go.
So I'd like to work together to change the narrative. If you feel inspired by what we're doing here in Middletown, I want you to join the movement. And if you are not inspired, you really should be. In just about 2 weeks, using no money, grassroots groups mobilized the mechanisms that we had put in place, and we secured 153 write-in votes. Woo! That was in over more than 40 polling districts out of our 46. Someone knew to write the name Tricia Maguire on the ballot. Yay. Please be inspired and volunteer and volunteer and volunteer.
Thank you.
You don't need to love knocking on doors or making phone calls. There's jobs that we can give you where you can do them from home. And if you're saying, I just don't have the time, I'm encouraging you to think again. Take a lawn sign home. Make a commitment tonight to have a simple conversation with your neighbor. And if you are standing out there thinking, if she can do it, so can I, you know what? You're totally right.
Right.
I would like to challenge you to not only come out and vote, but after you cast your vote, maybe before it, immediately begin to think about what do we need to do next. And I'm really challenging you with these next 3 words. Run for office. Thank you.